Hey ho, let's go, folks, and a happy Tuesday to everyone. Hope you're well wherever you are. I am Sean Pugsley Martin. This is Pugsley's Pit. And as we always do this time of the week, we open the show with the question, where else would you rather be than right here, right now? So we said happy Tuesday to everybody. By way of introduction, I am a freelance sports writer for the Albany Times-Union, sports enthusiast, big-time homer for my teams, without apology. It can also be found as co-host of M&M Across the Board on a weekly basis with my great friends Eric and Ashley. You can follow our show on Twitter at Pugsley's Pit and take in the podcast on YouTube, Apple, Spotify. Today's show, I'm going into uncharted ground. I'm going into the land of the enemy, the Boston Red Sox. And we're going to welcome Mr. Adi Ignatius, editor-in-chief of the Harvard Business Review, which Avi's held for more than a decade. Adi has spent more than 20 years as a foreign correspondent for the Wall Street Journal in places like China, Russia, and once spent 3 hours interviewing Russian President Vladimir Putin. A lifelong baseball fan, in his 60s, still plays softball leagues in Brooklyn, Boston, Connecticut, and a 50-year Boston Red Sox fan. And with that, Mr. Adi Ignatius, good morning.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
Yeah. I wanted to do some Red Sox today because 2 weeks ago on this show, I tried to get a Yankee fan. I tried to get him into burying the Red Sox. He wouldn't do it, so I did. And I think my shovel dirt on the team has woken him up, especially Trevor Story. How's people feeling in the Red Sox nation these days? Is there some hope now? You're under 10 out?
Yeah, I mean, look, it just shows how bad we all are as sports prognosticators. The team is down and they say, this is it. The season's over after, 10 or 15 games. Then they get hot and, you just don't know. And sports, that's how sports is. That's certainly how baseball is. And I was like you. So before this recent good run, I was doing some data collection of my own. And I was looking at, I can nerd out on this stuff. I was looking at blown saves, right? So every team blows saves, but then what happens? So when the Red Sox won the World Series in 2018, they blew 20 saves. Okay. But their record in those games was actually a winning record, solidly. It was 12-7. They blew 2 saves in one of those games. So, before the Red Sox started turning things around a bit, their record in games with blown saves was 0-7. So, my friends and I are all concluding this is a team with no leadership, no resilience, break up the Red Sox, going nowhere. And now something else is going on. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games. The big three, Bogaerts, Devers, Martinez, have been hitting all season, but now the rest of the lineup is happening. And, the conspicuous difference is Trevor Story. Yeah. He was the big offseason acquisition. He was terrible at the beginning of the year. He was getting booed at Fenway because they put all their chips on this guy. And, he just won Player of the Week. I mean, the guy is hot right now, and who knows what's going on, but it seems like it's adding a spark that is really, there's hope again in Fenway, put it that way.
Yeah. Well, Story, I thought he was starting to wear that label of a Colorado Rocky who was getting his stats due to the altitude up there, and now he's caught fire. And that is a big difference there. And it's kind of I like the home run celebration where they put him in the cart and run him through. And yeah, I'm not a Red Sox fan, okay, but there's something about them that maybe they just get different sort of characters, like going back to the 04 team. And I always liked that. That's how the Raiders always were when I was growing up. What is it about the Red Sox? Do they just attract those type of people? I mean, only in Boston could Johnny Gomes catch a Trevor Story home run ball over the wall last Friday, and Johnny Gomes is a legend anywhere he's ever played. But that only seems to happen in Boston. What's the charm with the franchise?
Well, that's interesting. So first of all, Johnny Gomes dropped that home run ball. He caught it, dropped it, and then he did pick it up and brandished it and signed it and gave it to Trevor Story. But for the record, he actually dropped that standing on the monster. It's interesting. So you look at Boston. They've won 4 world championships in this century. No one's won that more than that. No one's won as many as that. But it's kind of boom or bust. They've also finished last several times. Other franchises, you think about the Yankees, they're in it every year. I mean, Oakland's probably in it more consistently, your guys, than Boston is. It's sort of boom or bust. But I don't know when they get it right. I don't know if it's the fans, the owners. I mean, they've had some amazing general managers. If you think about, Theo Epstein, you think about Dave Dombrowski, you think about Chaim Bloom now, they're piecing together teams that do well, but sometimes they just get it fantastically wrong. Gomes was there in 2013. That was the magical year when everybody had beards, and there was, if you think about what is that, like the Yankees don't have that. The Yankees don't even allow facial hair. They
too
kind
corporate.
of personality. So at least Boston has the ability to be, to sort of have characters, a Manny Ramirez or a Johnny Gomes or, Rafi Devers, I think, is sort of a sort of contemporary character. It was Mookie Betts before we left him. So, and some franchises don't develop, I guess, that kind of ethos, or don't take baseball seriously. Maybe is what it is.
Yeah, I think that you brought up the Yankees. I don't like the corporate image that in some cases, not all. Some people thrive in it. Jeter. I thought that the corporate thing, like, it takes away your personality. I thought it destroyed Jason Giambi. He was just not the same biker type image he was in Oakland when he won the MVP. So you brought up Chaim Bloom. What's the feelings on I thought he kind of slept through the offseason a little bit. Rich Hill, Michael Wacha. Is that the feeling out there? He's done a good job overall, though.
Again, we're fickle, and when the team started badly, everyone was concluding that Bloom wasn't up to it. Then things turn around. It's kind of too early to know. I mean, look, he's obviously an amazing general manager. In his last year at Tampa Bay, 2019, that team had the smallest payroll in baseball. Dave Dombrowski was general manager of the Red Sox then. We had the highest payroll in baseball. And of course, you know where this is going. The Rays made the playoffs and the Red Sox didn't. So, I think Bloom is the real deal. His first year in Boston was the COVID year. I just sort of discount that.
Yeah.
Last year, they were hot, then they were cold. They had a great run in the postseason, came close to making it to the World Series. So, something was happening. The payroll isn't the biggest in baseball now, but it's not small. And it's definitely, he's got to show results this year. That's a problem. So, you mentioned Rich Hill and Wacha. I mean, Wacha's been the most effective starter. I mean, I have to give Bloom credit for identifying these kind of retreads, and Hill has pitched well. They got Paxton. I mean, he's on the injured list. We'll see if but so I think Bloom is pretty good at identifying talent that other people may not see. He has built up the farm system into something impressive, and it was Dombrowski, cleaned it out. So there's that. But it's an almost 200 million payroll, and they have to deliver, or it's very fair to say he somehow botched it. A team with a lot of great players, he botched it. So they're 8-2. They're not going to keep that up. So we'll kind of see how that does.
I think with Hill and Wacha, I think if you can get 5 innings a night out of them, you're good.
Yeah,
because Hill seems to lose it that third time, especially third time through.
Yeah, that's true. But welcome to contemporary baseball. I mean, Nick Pivetta threw a complete game for Boston, a few days ago, and the town went nuts. I mean, the people had to scramble to remember when was the last time anybody threw a complete game. It's a different game these days compared to when I was a kid. Bob Gibson would throw 9 innings, 200 pitches or something, and then he came out 4 days later and did the same thing. And it's just a different game, different expectations.
How about that bullpen? Is there a guy you see? I know it's a couple different face each night, Robles, and then it's Barnes and Diekman early on. Do you see any of these guys capable of taking a stranglehold on that responsibility?
It's kind of a mess. I mean, call me old-fashioned, but I think it's good to have a designated closer. They don't have one. If you look at the save leaders right now in the majors, it's San Diego, Milwaukee, Toronto, Chicago White Sox. I mean, these are all winning teams. It's good to have a closer. I believe that. The Red Sox do not have a closer. And they sort of thought, Barnes would get back to it. He's not. And so it's kind of a mess. I mean, some of the arms are good, but they really don't know what to do with them. And well, I shouldn't say that. that's too easy for a fan to say. The manager doesn't know what to do with them. But from a fan's perspective, it has not settled down. And, they've blown 11 saves already. It's mostly not a pretty picture at this point.
Is it? I'm going to put on your GM hat here. Contracts with Bogaerts and Devers coming up. You already got a high payroll. You can't give $300 million to both of them, right? Is that why Story was brought in, that Bogaerts might be the odd man out here?
Yeah, I mean, it might be. I mean, look, it was crushing to lose Mookie Betts a couple years ago. I mean, Betts was like, Ted Williams or Carl Yastrzemski, sort of once in a generation players that you just hope spend their career with you, are the face of the franchise. They sell seats, they sell jerseys. So that was painful to watch. This ownership, it's boom or bust, and the booms are great, but they tend not to offer some of those, call them crazy long-term contracts that are paying guys $30 million until they're 40 plus years old. They don't do that, and that means you lose deals like Mookie Betts. I think you're right. They probably won't keep both Bogaerts and Devers. Bogaerts can opt out after this year. Devers is on a 1-year deal. He could do another year in arbitration before he would have a chance to leave. If you can only afford one, I'd spend the big money on Devers. I love Bogaerts. I think he's underrated. He's a great shortstop. He's a great clutch hitter. But Devers is kind of I think he's one of the best players in the league, and I think statistically hits the ball harder than anybody else in baseball. So he's learned how to field. He's actually fielding better. So he's the guy I would prioritize, and they're nowhere close in the negotiations they've had with both so far.
Is it a concern though, given Bogaerts is such a good locker room guy, to take one of the leaders off the team? But again, you can't pay everybody, and how much are you going to pay for leadership? They've kind of survived the Betts thing, because I think Betts was going to leave anyway. But now it'd be another big chip to go. But you can't pay everyone.
Yeah, it would. They better get one of them. And you're right about Bogaerts. And David Ortiz, who's still kind of, I don't know, ambassador emeritus of the team or something, came out a couple of days ago and said it would be insane to let Bogaerts go, that he means so much, not just as a player, but as a leader. So I don't know. I trust the front office is thinking about this night and day, and it's not just the fans who are freaking out about it, but they don't want to do these big deals that are great for, I don't think they would do what the Dodgers did with Betts, even though Betts brought him a World Series. He'll be on the payroll averaging $30 million a year until he's 40 plus. And these guys just don't do that. And I don't know if it's brilliant or short-sighted, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, rebirth of JD Martinez this year. He seems to go every other year. He struggles, and next year he's an MVP candidate.
Yeah, he's tricky. I don't love watching him. It's like the mechanics of his swing are good, but to me, it's a really ugly thing. And it's sort of slow motion. And, if he swings and misses, it's slow mo. It looks like he's not even trying. It's brilliant mechanics. I don't love watching the guy, but yes, he's pounding the ball again. It is a contract season, and I think there seems to be a correlation between guys on a contract season and how they perform. But what can you say? The guy's hitting again, and it's certainly part of the turnaround that we're seeing now.
Yeah. Now we met on Twitter just the other day. One of my favorite parts about Twitter, and it's happening now, is that the Yankee Twitter implosion, now that they have a little bit of a losing streak going on. What, a 9.5 back with the Yankee loss last night? Are they gettable? Are they not as good as they look? What are your thoughts on the evil empire?
Well, so losing streak. I mean, they're 5-5 in their last 10 games. We would have killed for 5-5 until a little while ago. No, they're not. I mean, they're not in it. They were playing whatever, 750 ball or something, and they're not sort of once in a generation good. I don't think they're that good, but yeah they're good. They're going to stick around. I mean, will Boston catch the Yankees? Maybe not. Can they make the playoffs? Maybe yes. They sort of have an expanded wild card, but it's tough. You got Yankees, Blue Jays hit the ball like crazy. Tampa Bay is always there, and Boston. Everybody has to beat up on Baltimore. Maybe they're playing better. So I think it'll be tough. I think wild card is within range. I'd be very surprised if Boston could make up all this ground and get to first place. I mean, the scenario is, well, Chris Sale's coming back, Paxton maybe still has it. Suddenly you move some of your starters to the bullpen and the bullpen's better. And these guys, you have a great lineup. They have to hit better than they were hitting in April, and maybe it all comes together. And that could be a fun ride, but they have a lot of ground to make up.
Yeah. Now, one of the things I really wanted to talk to you about, you've been a Red Sox fan a long time, Fenway Park. I've been there a handful of times. Now, look, I live in Albany, New York, and the A's are in Oakland or Vegas, Portland, wherever. So the chances my twin boys are 5.5. The chances of them being A's fans, I want to take them to a ballpark where they root for the team. And if I'm able to get that, we're going to head east. My in-laws are all from the Boston area. I'll point them in the direction, and hopefully that pays off. But talk about Fenway Park and just the charm and the ambiance of the old place. It's special. It's like Wrigley Field. I've been to both.
It is a lot like Wrigley Field. Wrigley is almost more kind of human. I mean, I remember the first game I went to Wrigley. All the concession guys would stop and watch every pitch. I mean, they're on commission. They got to be selling stuff, and practically, hold your hand in an exciting moment. So there's a personal touch in Wrigley that is unmatchable. But yeah, I love Fenway. It's if you describe it, it's horrible. The seats are small. There are literally seats behind posts. I bought tickets on StubHub or whatever once, and was sitting behind a giant metal girder. And I turned to my friend and said, let me know, big stuff, lead changes and things like that, because I honestly could not see the field behind the post. They're weird things. Some of the seats are kind of pointing in the wrong direction, not really toward the field, but kind of at a weird angle toward nothing in particular. To me, those are charms, and I love the place. The Green Monster, the it's too close. The right field is too far. I mean, it's all sort of great and charming. I hate Sweet Caroline, but I'm the only one. There are 35,000 people who are rocking out to it every night, and I'm sitting there grumpy. And it's a creepy song. It's about 7-year-old Caroline Kennedy. It's really creepy, but everybody else seems to love it, and it's part of what people identify with Fenway now.
My last time at Fenway was for a Yankee Red Sox game. We bought standing room only seats, but what we would do is we would walk down near the foul pole, or between the foul pole and the dugout, and walk along that lower trail from the left field down to right field very slowly, and watch the game, and then get to the end, maybe catch the whole half inning, and just turn around and go back. Maybe go to the concession stand and get the best seat in the house the whole time while you're walking, and you get your steps in that way too. So just don't want to give any security at Fenway Park any extra issues, but that's what we do. So
yeah, no, it's great. I have to tell you my one other sort of old Red Sox sort of story, but also, so I grew up in Washington. I was a Washington Senators fan until they broke my heart and left in 1971. But in 1969. Ted Williams, Red Sox great Ted Williams, became the manager of the Senators. So my father and I went to spring training down in Pompano Beach, Florida. And I actually have pictures of my 10-year-old self with Ted Williams with his arm around me. And I actually remember what he said as they were taking the picture. He said, and this is very cool, he said, the 2 greatest hitters of all time.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. I got to ask you a question. Red Sox fan, 51 years. What's a bigger moment? I'm going to assume it was 2004. Was it coming back from the Yankees down 3-0, or was it winning the World Series?
2004. No, beating the Yankees was it was unprecedented. This is the only time in baseball a team down 3-0 has come back and won, and it was against the Yankees. And 2 of the games were walk-offs. 2 of the games seemed hopeless until the last second. So yeah, there will never be anything like that. The World Series went 4 games. It was almost an afterthought. It was over before you knew it. So yeah,
St. Louis had no chance.
Apparently not. It just
chance.
It went very quickly. So yeah, that was the moment, I think, for Red Sox fans. 2018, was kind of great also because, first of all, the team just won 2 out of 3 games all season long. just from start to finish, first half, second half. And then they, sorry, 2013. Sorry, I'm confusing things. They won the World Series at home. So they've only once won the World Series in a home game, and that was 2013. So that was a thrill, And I scalped tickets then. Like, I lied to my wife how much I paid for scalp tickets to go to what was the final Game 6. I told her it was $1,000, but I was really lying because it was a lot more than that. But it was worth it, to be there. The only time since 1918, I think, that they have won a World Series at home.
Take away the World Series. What's been your favorite moment as a Red Sox fan, favorite player through all these years?
One of my favorite moments, there are a lot. I mean, the clip that I love seeing is, let's see, it must be 2007, I guess, when the Red Sox were playing I don't want to get my dates wrong. So maybe it's 2004 when the Red Sox are playing the Angels in the first round of the playoffs, and Manny Ramirez hits a walk-off homer just out of Fenway. And it's just iconic. He sort of swings the bat and then, puts his arms up, both arms up in sort of triumph, and the stadium goes nuts. And, it's just, there was something about Manny Ramirez, his legacy tainted by steroid use, et cetera. But there was something kind of, I don't know, boyishly charming about him, and, just nobody hit the ball further. So he was one of the kind of iconic guys for me.
And I can't tell you how much I thank you for not bringing up the 75 ALCS as one of your favorite moments too, because I'm still traumatized 40-something years later. Adi, look, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the pit today. I really appreciate your time. It's been great meeting you.
It was great to be on the show. Nothing better than talking baseball.
Yeah, how can the viewers find you on Twitter if they want to connect up with another Red Sox fan?
Well, so my handle is at Adiman, ADIMAN. I host a show that we do on LinkedIn Live and YouTube and now Twitch called The New World of Work every week, and you can find those on YouTube. And we've interviewed a lot of really interesting CEOs on how they're thinking about how work is changing, how our work lives are changing. So you can find me there.
Is it possible to send me a link to that, and I'll put that out on Twitter with the show? I'd love to see it.
Yeah, there is. I think there's the individual shows have links, but probably there's a link that'll get you to the sort of landing page for all the episodes.
That's fantastic. Thanks a bunch. I look forward to watching it. I'm running accounting and bookkeeping business. You can see it on the scroller right down there. That's my daytime thing. So I'm always interested in hearing things about that for my clients.
All right.
Well, thanks a bunch. Have a wonderful day, and good luck with the comeback. And hopefully we'll have you on later in the year. If you guys are neck and neck with the Yankees, we'll see how it goes.
All right, that sounds great. All right, thanks, Sean.
All right, enjoy your day. Mr. Ignatius, that was fun. I like the insight with the Red Sox and everything. And yeah, you guys know I'm not a big Red Sox fan, but boy, they've had an interesting history, for sure. And then the longtime fans are enjoying the fruits of their labor now. So, hey, let's go to my world, Oakland, California. Look, we knew it was going to be a struggle this year. Let's stay with the baseball theme here, and it has been a struggle. Tough loss in Seattle last night. You got Texas coming in later in the week. Hopefully we can string some wins together, especially in front of the home folks, and maybe get a little more crowd support out there. However, I'm a big believer. You got to focus on your positive, right? That's a chapter in my book that I wrote to my kids. So let's do that, right? The good things with the A's. Pete Blackburn, that dude looks like an all-star. He's all over it. He has not slowed down. He's been great. I've seen him pitch the last few years or so, but this year he's got something working. Let's hope he can keep it going. Frankie Montas got hit in the hand the other day. It looks like he's going to start Thursday against the Rangers. Keep Frankie going. Hopefully he doesn't get traded, though it's probably going to happen, him and probably Laureano. And Danny Jimenez is quickly becoming one of my favorite A's. He's been a shutdown guy, a closer. He's taken that job. He's helped lead the A's bullpen, top 10 in baseball, and they'd probably be a little higher if Lou Trevino wasn't on the roster. And just cut him. Okay, come on, guys. He sucks. He's weighing us down. Get rid of Trevino. He's not a closer anyway. Ugh. Again, Christian Pache, great in the field. He's hit 154 the other day. Let's hope that average comes. He's a great guy. Very interactive with the fans. Great on social media. Likes some of my tweets from time to time, which is awesome. But he's exemplary to the team. The issue right now is the team going into this week was hitting 205. And the league hitting is down around the league. But hopefully it'll come with the A's. But it's a young group. And let's hope we can see some more positive results at the plate, maybe string a few more wins here. Hoping for a better day, but if I think all of us expected a tough year, and that's kind of what we have. Let's go right to our third winner here, the Whiny Bitch of the Week award. I don't have his picture. I wish I did. He's the guy that's the college football messiah on the mountaintop, Nick Saban. Hey, man, the game's changed, Nick. Don't complain about Texas A&M. I mean, you gave Deion Sanders all the credibility in the world at Jackson State the other day because you're losing players. I actually think Nick Saban's going to leave the game sooner than he otherwise would have over this NIL stuff. And, you had the number two recruiting class in the country, pal. I mean, stop whining, okay? Yeah, look, NIL's here. The rules have changed. The game has changed. Is Nick Saban going to be able to keep up? To me, he looks like this stodgy old guy, resistant to change. Sounds like me, but I'm apparently a little more flexible than Nick Saban. So, Nick, pipe down, put a cork in it, and worry about your football team. You're going to win 11 games anyway. You recruit yourself. Also, I want to throw this out there. I jumped on Twitter with this the other day. Chris Vitale, good friend of our show, ball9.com, put out a tweet the other day to people saying, hey, called the Vitale Challenge. He reached out on Venmo to somebody who shared his name, send him $10 with a name, saying, hey, from one Chris Vitale to another, have a great day. I loved it. I love doing that stuff. Random acts of kindness, folks. Here's my whiteboard from the M&M Across the Board podcast. And I'm breaking it out for Pugsley Spit. So the Vitale Challenge, I did it with another Sean Martin, and the guy responded to me inside of 30 minutes and thanked me for the gesture. I said he was going to pay it forward to another Sean Martin, so I thought that was fantastic. This world's a little nuts right now, so a nice random act of kindness can always be a great thing. And you know what? Hey, if it's within your means, make someone's day. You'll feel better about it. And like I said, hopefully, somebody can have a bad day and somebody does something nice for them. It all rolls down, right? Rolls downhill and people pass it forward, and there it goes. We will leave you with a shameless plug of the week. Dear Liam and Noah, Letters from Daddy on Amazon, a book I wrote to my boys. I mentioned them earlier. They'll be 6 in September. Time flies. Just some life advice from them based on some of my experiences, good and bad. Hopefully they can learn from it. So that said, folks, have a wonderful week. Memorial Day weekend coming up. Have a wonderful holiday. We got a barbecue set and ready to go. Looking forward to that. Get outside with some friends and we'll enjoy the weekend. Until then, Sean Martin, Pugsley's Pit. Bye now.